Hi everyone, I'm author L.A. Detwiler, and I'm here with 6 things I wish I'd known as a new author. My first book was published in 2015 with a very small publisher. Since then, I've had over 20 novels published, including with one of the big five. I have a lovely agent now. I've hit the USA Today bestsellers list, had foreign translations, but let me tell you, it's been a journey, and it's been a journey I've largely had to figure out on my own because when I started, I had no idea what I was doing. So this video is to help those of you new to writing or interested in publishing, hopefully to avoid some of the mistakes I made along the way, or hopefully to fast track you to success. So the first tip I have for you is learn Canva. Canva.com, you can start with a free account. I used the free account for many, many years. This is great for making social media posts or any images you need to promote your work. When I started, I thought, oh, I'm an author. Writing is what I need to know. You also need to understand graphic design, visuals, photography, because especially in today's world, visuals are what sells your work and sells you as an author. So the more you can learn about graphic design, the better. Canva makes it really easy. They have wonderful tutorials. They make it so simple to make a professional looking graphic for your work. So learn that from day one. The second thing I wanted to talk about, don't just accept any publishing offer that comes your way. I know when you're first starting out, you're just like, wow, I'm never going to get published. And then the first company that offers you a contract, you just want to jump on it. Be careful. I was really lucky. The first company I worked with, they were great. They were very honest. I had a great experience. But to be honest, I didn't do as much research as I would have today. Make sure you're understanding what you're signing with a contract, especially watch out for exclusivity clauses. These basically sometimes they're just where you offer the publisher your next work and they can say no, but sometimes you can run into trouble because these clauses can lock you in with that publisher forever, or they can kind of hold you captive until they tell you no. So make sure there's very clear guidelines about how that option will go. Make sure that you're not opening yourself up to being trapped with one publisher forever. This is why agents are really great. I didn't understand that when I first started. I just went straight to a publisher. But agents are wonderful because they can walk you through all of those things carefully. Also, however, make sure you get the right agent. You have to make sure you get an agent that's a fit for you. My agent and I get along so well. She's so wonderful. Really open communication, which was important to me. So you really have to know going into the relationship what you're looking for and make sure that you're not just signing the first contract that comes along, even if it's tempting. Make sure you do your homework. The third thing I would say that you should know is make sure you choose social media you love because consistency is key. A lot of people, especially in the author world, when they're starting out, they think, oh, I'm just going to make one great post on Instagram or a video on TikTok and I'm going to go viral and that'll be that. But that's usually not the case. Typically, the way you build a dedicated readership that will stick with you for your career is to show up consistently. You need to show up in a way too that's genuine. If you're trying to force it and be someone you're not, it's not going to work. I love Colleen Hoover. I love her sense of humor. That's not really my vibe. That's not who I am. And I feel like if I tried to do that, it would be very transparent and fake. So, you can look to the greats that you admire for inspiration, but don't try to be a copy of someone. Be yourself, be genuine, show up in a way that you love, and show up on the platforms you love. I love Facebook and Instagram. That's typically where I show up. I've been dabbling a little more on YouTube here, which I've really enjoyed, but make sure you're not doing something you hate. If you hate Pinterest, then don't make that part of your tactic because whatever social media you pursue, you need to show up there regularly and in a way that makes sense to your audience. So it's easier if you're passionate about it. Also, as a newbie, don't try to do everything. You cannot show up on every single platform every single day and still get your writing done, which is really, really important. You really need to make sure you're still writing your material because that's what's getting you out there and that's what you love to do. The fourth tip I have for you, don't fall for marketing scams. When you start writing, when you first get your book published, there are a lot of companies that will try to take your money. And when you're new, it can be hard to say no again because you don't know. So I even still today, I have so many companies that will email me with exclusive offers to pay them anywhere from a few hundred to a few $1,000s to get publicity, to for them to share me on their TikTok and Instagram. I'm not saying all of these companies are scams. There are some great publicity PR firms. There are great TikTokers and Instagrammers who do have services like this. But again, it's all about doing your research. Go check out their Instagram and their TikTok. Talk to other authors who have used their services and make sure they're legitimate. I have used some legitimate marketing companies. Espresso with an X, Espresso Book Tours is wonderful. I've used them before for their NetGalley tour and for some of their book blogging tours. They're a great company. They came highly recommended to me, and so I use them. Some of the emails I get, though, that when I was new, I was tempted to kind of use. When I would go to their Instagram or their TikTok, I would see they barely had any followers, or the comments and likes they were getting were all spam. So really be careful that you don't follow for those marketing scams when you're new. The fifth tip I have for you is going to sound really negative, and I don't mean it to, but don't quit your day job. And here's what I mean by that. Even if you're an overnight success, which the chances are slim, but it could still happen, even if you're an overnight success in the publishing world, nothing happens fast in publishing. It takes time, so much time for everything. So let's say you get a killer book contract tomorrow, it is going to take a long time for your book to be out, and then it's going to take an even longer time for you to start seeing money trickling in. With the way royalty schedules are typically, with the way book sales and book returns are, it's going to be a while till you see your money. Unless you get a really killer advance right out the gate, you're going to have to take some time until you see money rolling in. So don't quit your day job for now. I'm not saying you can't be a full-time writer, but just know that I don't think a lot of people understand when they start in the publishing world how long things take. So I just wanted you to be aware it might be a little bit till income is coming in. The last thing I wish I'd known and that I want to share with you as a new author, there are so many routes in publishing. Do not feel like you have to follow the one traditional route to be successful. Let me explain. I started out without an agent, without knowing anything about what I was doing. I just kind of was a one-man show, doing it all myself. Had no idea what I was doing. Since then, I've gone so many different routes. I've been published with small publishers. I've self-published. I've been picked up by one of the big five for a 2-book contract. I now have an agent who I absolutely love and is doing amazing things for my career. But my path to like being a USA Today bestseller, being with the big five, having an agent, and having foreign translation deals, it was not your typical path. It was not your start with an agent, go to the big five, done. It was a very rocky path. I changed genres halfway through. Yeah, so it was a lot of work to get where I am. And that's the thing I've learned though, is that every author's path is different. So you have to be guided by what's right for you. You have to think about what matters most to you. A lot of authors starting out think they have to be with the big five to be an instant success. Certainly, there are benefits to being with the big five, but there are also benefits to self publishing too. There are benefits to being with a smaller press. So you really have to do your research. Think about what you really want. What matters most to you? Are you looking for money? Are you looking to be on the big lists? Are you looking for creative control? Because depending on the path you take, you're going to have to maybe give and take a little bit in those areas. So you have to know what your goals are, what success looks like, and you have to do your research. I highly suggest going to author fairs, book fairs, and talking to the authors. Most authors are really nice about sharing our stories of where we've come from, how we got to where we did, sharing tips. So don't be afraid to reach out and ask. So those are 6 things I wish I'd known when I started out as an author. If you're an author, feel free to add in the comments. And if you're someone starting out and you have a question, feel free to leave that in the comments too. So I'll see you next time.